Hey there, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. And happy Sunday. Oh, I hope yours is going as well as ours. Yes. Somebody loves her mountain time as much as I do. Right? Whoa. Well, we're wrapping up our week in the mountains. We're heading back to Chicago tomorrow for just a bunch of appointments, a bunch of things to finalize some things and see some more friends and things like that. And then my wife and I are gonna pack up our car and try to relocate out here as long as possible because it makes us happy. Well, you remember last week, my wife and I had just come to the decision after doing a very big deep dive into our mental state and our emotions, and we decided to willingly not walk through the doors for infusion any longer. I decided that I wasn't going to walk through the door for infusion any longer. After 5 years, after 5 years of saying yes to whatever they put in front of me. Yes, you can cut my liver off. Yes, you can cut my spleen out. Yes, you can. I said no by my choice. Because of that crazy, insane allergic reaction that I had, remember? It was like freaking big vocal times where boils were under. Oh, I don't want to go back there. But, so this week, this week, it hit me at the beginning of the week when we were getting ready to come out here. I'd spent last weekend just filling my dance card with hangs with friends and it was just really wonderful. In some cases, friends with children. I shared with them it was probably going to be our last hang. I don't want the children in my life to see the disintegration of my body. So it was a beautiful weekend. It was an emotional weekend. I will say that I really appreciated the way that my friends navigated those visits, understanding that most likely it was probably the last time they were going to see me in person, unless some wild science miracle still has me here this summer, or if this little bastard decides to toy with me and make it be super slow. I really appreciate it though, the way that it's really hard for a lot of people. They're overcome with their own needs, when you talk about these emotional things, or you have these situations like the last time they're going to see me. Instead of imploring me to continue to find other ways to fight, or don't give up, or, there's got to be other science, or you just got to believe, Nicole, and just keep going, toxic positivity, whatever. It's like, that's not part of it. They dealt with their own emotions and minds, and that was beautiful. But after the brunch that I was so excited to go to, after our chat last Sunday, my friend Paola reached out. I'm friends with this couple. This one's gonna get me, so bear with. You might want to grab some tissues. I've been friends with this couple for quite a while now. I was introduced to them from Dr. McDreamy. Remember Dr. McDreamy? The guy who said, I disagree with the entire world that says that we can't fix your liver and get rid of the cancer in it. I believe that I can, and in that give you potentially some longer time here. He did. The gentleman that has, my friend Vasi, that has the same disease as I do, it was his doctor also who gave him the same chance. And It didn't quite work out for him. He never got his body back after his liver surgery. That's a hard thing to come back from when they cut your liver out. Ooh. As you remember, it was 3 surgeries, and it was the 2nd or 3rd time that I came this close to dying. So for him, he's had a very different path for his cancer. And my friend Paula reached out to let me know that he was in the hospital. And since we were leaving for Jackson, of course, I wanted to go visit with him. He also, he's such a fucking dude. He's just such a fucking dude. And I'm not saying this stereotypically that all dudes are like this at all. It's just, as you know, I've done a lot of volunteer work over the years with cancer patients, and it's, I believe it to be our fault particularly in America, with, you know, our Christian overlords have this weird thing about gender, and we don't allow or give our boys and men the tools that they need to be able to deal with really crazy fucking mental or emotional issues, right? So many just don't have the skills or the equipment, and they cave in on themselves, and that's you know, where Vazi has been. But on Sunday, when I went to chat with him, I don't know, it's strange. You know, my wife and I always say that the life unfolds as it should, and I think that I was meant to visit with him on Sunday, not just for him, but as I sat in this room with this man who's very close to dying, and it's kind of surreal because we're actually really in the same position. He's, I think, gonna die sooner, and unfortunately suffer longer. It's weird, it's so weird. But in our chats that day, you know, and sitting in that room, I'm watching my friend Paula as she's navigating what's happening around her and the place that she's in, and desperately trying to help him stay alive, because that's what he wants. And I'm just watching her, and I'm thinking, I don't want my wife to experience this. And we have experienced it, don't get me wrong. We've experienced it for 5 years. For 5 years, we have gone from crisis to crisis. And no matter what we did after those 5 years, we end up in the same fucking spot anyways. You know? My wife and I were just saying, right now, we can't make plans or look out more than a week or 2. Because that's where we're at. We have done that, and she has done that for 5 years. And in watching my friend, it made me feel even more stronger and convicted to my decision to stop infusion. Because there's no way I can do it without checking into the ICU and having it be this total scary thing. And then you're just engaged in this life of constantly in fear, trying to stay alive, trying to look at the next, get through this, what's next, get through this, what's next. And there's just, I don't know, it made me very much appreciate the decision that I made for myself and for her. And then in talking to my friend, Vazi, because we talked about, you know, we've talked a lot in the last several months about quality of life and end of life and such. And He unfortunately, he's got, I don't know, he's got a relationship with his sky fairy that, and he's old. He's like old-time biblical sky fairy believer. I don't know, he's conflicted. And he feels he can't stop treatment because of those conflicts. He can't quit. And it was interesting, and I appreciate and understand that, but it was the first time they always say when you're ready, you'll know. I never understood that, but they're right. Because as I was chatting with him and he was talking about, like, I can't quit. And here's a man, he is so sick, right? Like I don't see any way for him to dig out of this. And I just see a path of suffering forward, and yeah, he's going to continue with the treatment into the ground. And I just realized in chatting with him that I don't think it's quitting my choice to not walk through that infusion. I think it's choosing life. For me, it's making my choice, so it's mine. This little fucker has taken so much from me. It has made me dance. It has been my puppeteer for the last 5 years. And I don't think it's quitting. I think it is reclaiming the space in my head here. It's reclaiming the life that it took from me. Because this is unheard of at this stage. I literally may not be here in a couple of months. It's so strange with this body. But I fought really, really hard to get this body. And so I visited with them all afternoon. And it was amongst the sadness, what they're going through, what I'm going through, I walked out of there and I just thought, yeah, this is the way that I want to do it. And I think having that interaction unexpectedly on that day, for me, selfishly, was a good thing. Because I came to the mountains, and every single day I have been reclaiming or forging ahead, creating the life that I want to lead. It's been so wonderful. Tuesday was the first time. Tuesday's infusion day. This past Tuesday's infusion day for 5 fucking years. Tuesday has been an infusion day. Couldn't make any plans around it. Everything, life had to revolve around all of the appointments and all of the treatment and all of the, and this Tuesday instead, I went for a swim and hot tubbed, did some more swimming, did a sauna, and went for some hikes. And I wouldn't say hikes, little tiny strolls, because my leg is just coming back. But that's how I spent Tuesday, infusion day, instead of in the hospital, instead of in the ICU. Yeah. I haven't started the pain medication regime yet, regimen. So one of the things that I discovered this week is right before I finally got myself emotionally and mentally accepting that is where I need to be moving into. I struggle Because I've been so fortunate to have the choice to not take narcotics this past 5 years. I've been so fortunate to have found other ways to manage my pain in my mind. And as you know, I've project managed the shit out of my cancer, and the last of the plans are what I'm doing now, which is the pain management plan and the plan for how I'm going to manage my mind. So that kept, really, I had to struggle because I thought, I don't know, I don't want to start this. But then the pain management plan was it's a patch that you put on, so it's 24 hours. And frankly, the kid inside of me, man, my teenager and the little one inside is just going, fuck no, 24 hours a day, somebody's controlling us. So they're still raging a little bit, but I kind of like come to a deal with them that we would start this, and don't worry, if there was anyone, stepping on our neck, we'd get rid of it, type of thing. So everyone was on board to start this pain management. However, one of the things in reading all about this particular drug and the administer of it through a patch is you can't get your body hot. Okay, I spent 2 or 3 hours talking to the palliative team about all the options, how I want to move forward, blah, 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 blah. Not once did anyone mention this. So I'm just about to put the patch on, finally got through the mental blocks, but then I was like, wait a minute, one of the side effects is you can't get your body hot while you have that patch on because it has a week worth of drugs in it, and when you heat it, or your body gets super hot, which heats it, it releases and dispenses a buttload of drugs, leading to potential and most likely OD. So happy I read that, because I was going to put that patch on Monday this week, move into accepting that this is the way forward. Remember, Tuesday was infusion day. That was the day I planned on going for a swim, doing a couple of laps, jumping in the hot tub, do a couple of laps, jump in the hot tub, do a couple of laps, spend the end of the day in the sauna. Can you imagine? Day 2 of having finally walked into the world of managing. That would have been some shit. Thankfully, I read about it before. So I began the discussions with my palliative team of, whoa, how do we do this to make sure that I'm not interfering with my quality of life? Because let me tell you something, I did not decide to walk away from infusion to then start taking opiates and sit down in a fucking chair and not do anything. That's so we're in discussions about that. In the meantime, I've just decided that I'm using some heavy ibuprofen and some bringing some marijuana into the daytime. Yeah. Kind of thankful in one way that there's an excuse to not take this, because again, the little ones inside of me are going, yeah, fuck you, see? It's gonna take away our quality of life. It's gonna tell us what to do. So that is part of going back this week. I have so many appointments set up this week in meeting with a therapist that does ketamine therapy, meeting with someone else who does guided mushroom therapy, all of the stuff that I want to manage my mind. And one of the things that I'm kind of thinking about for right now, because I realize with this forced momentary break before I enter into opiates, that I really am still struggling with it. And I think that If there is a way that I can continue to manage my body without it, for me, you know, when you start to take opiates, like, I don't know the exact science, and don't come at me if I'm wrong about this, because all I know is you take the opiates, they work with certain sensors that basically, if your brain was saying, hey, there's pain, and it was sending things to be able to manage it, once you start taking opiates, you shut that off, and it stops doing it. And so I think that for me, I'm going to move forward with muscle relaxers at night. My palliative team thought, hey, let's try to see if we can reduce your pain, get you some solid sleep, some certain recovery at night, and that will be enough to get me through the day. And then in the day, I'm going to layer on waves of things that will give my mind a break from managing the pain. And that will be guided shroom tours, an hour or two of marijuana, whatever it is. I think that I'd like to try to manage it that way for now. We'll see. I don't know. It's also like, we'll see. It's very painful. So, anyhow, feeling very confident, very okay still with the decision to stop treatment. People were right. When you know, you know. In that vein, it is Sunday afternoon. The sun has come out, and I'm going to attempt to go for a walk in the woods with my wife and my dog. Yeah. Make every day be special, because I can. For now. All right. Well, as always, friend, thank you for coming to visit, and I will see you next Sunday.